You know, this off-grid living has been a very paradisical experience, but recently I've experienced a couple of things which really showcase the risks. In this video, I'm going to share the good, the bad, the ugly of life living off-grid recently. There's been tons of good stuff, but this fire is making me nervous, man. It is far too close to home. It's probably about 40 miles away as the crow flies. So in this video, I'm going to give you some updates on the great stuff that has been happening in the off-grid living world. But right now, I have to be honest, I'm fairly consumed with fire risk. Let's get right into this. All right, on to the fun stuff. First thing, most important to me at least, is this rock climbing wall over here. This wall, it's a 12-foot by 12-foot wall. I set it at 35 degrees overhung. I did not set it steep enough. Proper training wall should really be more between 40 and 45 degrees. So I have the ability to adjust that. I'll make it a little bit steeper. But this climbing wall has been an awesome addition to the property. To be honest, I've only been able to get like 4 full sessions on it because of an injury. I've been dealing with tennis elbow and I've just been kind of managing it through the years. But the irony of this climbing wall is I hustled so hard on it because I was really mixed in with a lot of work at that period of time. My tennis elbow got so vicious. I was able to get kind of, 4 proper sessions on it. And then the tennis elbow just got so bad that I couldn't manage anymore. I just got a cortisone shot a couple days ago. I know it's not the best thing to do, but I have had success with it for a long-term healing in the past. Okay, so for those of you who are not so familiar with rock climbing, I'm just going to share a little bit of information. This is what would be considered bouldering. Bouldering is where you're not using ropes and you're climbing on things that are generally like very physical and gymnastic. And instead of using ropes under here, you can't see them, but there's specialized pads that you fall on. There's a lot of holds on this wall, but really when you're climbing, the goal isn't to like use whatever hold is available to you on these walls. You're choosing specific holds and you're creating a route that will be challenging to your level. And that's really how outdoor rock climbing works also, is it's not just a scattering of hundreds of holds available to you. It's usually just a very select amount of holds, just enough to get you through the route. So this discipline of climbing, this is actually in the Olympics now. Highly recommend watching it because those athletes are just amazing what they can do. And the creativity in the movement is pretty fascinating. I've really been enjoying the creative process of setting boulder problems. They're not called routes in bouldering, they're called problems. So check that out in the Olympics. There's 3 disciplines in the Olympics now for rock climbing. There's bouldering, sport climbing, and speed climbing. Speed climbing is like super lame in the rock climbing world. That's really not a thing unless you're like doing big peaks and summits, big walls. Yeah, so that was the climbing wall. That's been a lot of fun, helping keep some climbing fitness throughout the summer months. But now we're going over to the Wallapini. Let's check this thing out. So the Wallapini is completely crushing. If any of you guys don't know what that word means, a Wallapini is an underground greenhouse. I've made some videos in the past. Feel free to look those up and check those out. But pretty much for my elevation, 7,800 feet here in southern Utah, growing tomatoes, warm weather plants really wouldn't be possible just because the growing season is so short. This I have had to offer no supplemental heating to, and this is definitely my best season of gardening. I mean, every single thing that I've planted has survived and it's been thrilled. The cool weather plants, the hot weather plants, they're all doing well at the same time. That's some sort of miracle for me. And I've already started harvesting tomatoes. So I harvested my first tomato only 1 week after our last frost date. So I'm considering this jalapeno a huge success. I have been just destroying salads and eating a ton of chard. I love chard. If you haven't tried it before, it's a great power food. It's been really interesting to see how the jalapeno has been working this back wall, which really collects a lot of heat during the sunlight hours. The plants that are along that have done awesome. I mean, all the plants are doing well, but those have done the best. These pepper plants, they have grown much slower than the tomato plants. You know, they like a pretty similar sort of heat. And so it's just been really interesting to see the growth rates between that back wall that collects heat and releases it at nighttime versus these ones that are not so close to the wall. So that's kind of the deal. That's what I would recommend if you're going to do a jalapeno. Do the back wall, do as many heat-loving plants as you can, and then do your cooler weather plants here more in the center or just not right against that back wall. Yeah, like I was saying, beautiful, beautiful chard. It's very happy. The one plant that has been lame compared to what I would expect is this cherry tomato plant. It's just kind of been lame. And I've gotten a pizza oven recently. This is a sauce making tomato. So my friends are into making pizzas and they're mentoring me through the process. Those San Marzanos are specifically for pizza sauce. These are the early girls, and this is what I've been harvesting so far. And they have a much better flavor than what I was anticipating. So excited about that. Right, and the two tomato plants that I'm most excited about, both heirlooms, Cherokee Purple. Those ones are getting close. And the Brandywine. I bet some of you are familiar with those. Complete flavor country. All right, cucumbers just starting to flower. I got those in really late. We got thyme that I put outside for a while. It totally sucked. Then I brought it backside. Started doing great. Got basil, got bush beans, parsley for some tabbouleh salad, and kale. That's what we got going on in the garden. So another real highlight to this past spring. And sorry, I haven't been able to put out any videos. Spring has been psycho busy with work. So it's been pretty much just full go work mode. One of the real highlights of this past spring was I ran a photography workshop with two of my very best friends. They're both professional landscape photographers also. And this workshop was like super wilderness based. So areas that me and my friend Hunter have discovered through many years of exploring, way off the beaten path, psycho roads to get out to them. And we just camped every night. We had a fun-loving crew. And it was a lot of laughter, and we just got some really amazing conditions at some very spectacular areas, specifically this slot canyon. Oh my goodness, total highlight of the trip. Just wanted to show you a few little things from that workshop. By the way, if you are into photography and you are looking for some unique workshops out here in Southern Utah, hit me up. You can see my website in the link below. I do all sorts of workshops. Would love to have you out. Another real serious highlight for this spring is my relationship with Potter is really blossoming. He's 2.5 now, and his psychoticness is really starting to wear off, and he's becoming more deliberate, intentional, and our relationship is really blossoming. I mean, he's turning into a spectacular dog. So Potter, ultra sweet boy, about the sweetest that you can imagine. I have a lot of great clients who allow him to come on photo trips with us, so it's great to be able to be with him almost all the time. Okay, well, we're down here by the river. It's getting toasty out in the sun, and it's just dry and crispy. This place feels like life down here. On to some of the challenges that I've been experiencing recently. First one's related to Potter as well as wildfires. Up here we have what's called cheatgrass. It's an invasive species. Typically happens in really open, non-vegetated areas. in a lot of places that have been overgrazed by cattle. This stuff is so combustible. It's almost like you look at it and it will catch on fire. So it is a huge, huge fire risk, and I've never seen as much cheatgrass around the property as I have this year. I mean, one little spark and it is game on. So really worried about that stuff for fire risk. I'm pretty much doing nothing related to a flame or sparks, being wicked, wicked careful. So the cheatgrass is a problem like that, but it's also the seeds, which are like prime for being obnoxious. They're really sharp and they poke into Potter's fur and it starts to grind into his skin. So I'm kind of constantly having to keep up with that. He gets really uncomfortable, feel bad for Potter. Also, you walk around the property, this stuff just immediately gets soaked into your sock and starts poking you. And yeah, it's been a real nightmare this year. And I guess while we're down here next to the river, this is also relevant to the river. You know, like in off-grid living, you are constantly chasing down issues. Stuff is breaking fairly often. So one thing, and this happens probably every couple of years, this propane-powered shower has broken, not working at all. This is probably like the third or fourth of these that I've owned, and it just seems to happen. I can't fix them. I just end up having to replace them. But because of that, I don't have a shower. My bathing has been getting done here in this tiny little pool, just laying down, using biodegradable soap. And this is my bath right now. It's a cold bath. You know, not always the most comfortable. And I look like Linus from Charlie Brown all the time. Sometimes it's just, you're having to get a little bit primal with it, which I like. So lack of a shower, that's certainly been a major inconvenience. Another thing is I came home one day, one of my solar panels had blown over. This was completely my fault for not screwing that thing in this season. Shattered, and it fried some of the solar cables. Couldn't find any solar cables in the nearby towns, nearby meaning at an hour and a half to 2 hours away. No one there had it, had to order in from Amazon, but my post office box is so far away that I haven't made it down there again. So I've been more limited on juice. So last thing I wanted to cover was this Cottonwood Fire. This is certainly the biggest thing on the list because boy, this place could burn down, and all of the time, energy, and finances that I've invested to this, gone. And the thing is I was fully aware, you know, it's a risk that I knew I was signing up for and was willing to, and am still willing to sign up for. One of my best friends, he had a lot, well, he still has it, up in the mountains where that wildfire is, and that wildfire ripped through his property. So most likely, unfortunately, it's gone. Fortunately, it was not his primary residence, and he didn't have a whole lot of infrastructure there. He had a couple shipping containers, but some of his very best friends, you know, they kind of had this whole community of adventure friends going on up there. People were building legit dream homes to retire in, and that stuff has been completely wiped out. So super, super tragic. We went up the other day to the summit of this mountain to go look at the fire. Okay, sadly, but definitely not sadly, we are not going to be able to see that fire from up on top of the summit because we're actually getting a proper rain over here today. And thank goodness, man. Not that it really helps a whole lot, I don't think. We need a lot of saturation, but man, I'm just grateful to be getting something here. So we're not going to be able to see the fire from here, but we're going to meet up with Johnny. He's up top here on his motorcycle, so assuredly he's pretty drenched. We'll get him in the car and get him dried up.
Beautiful too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Super static. I cannot believe it.
Wow, that's wild. How?
100.
So yeah, look at this. This is from Mongo's Ring camera.
Jesus.
Is Mongo's there?
Well, he moved,
Oh,
but
his
that's a house he
Ring
built.
camera. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
oh.
And right behind him, that was the final picture that it sent, I think, and it's getting hit with the red retardant.
Oh shit.
See this thing?
So they're
Yeah. So they bombed some of the houses, you know, but
Johnny, he was showing us videos from his friends' ring cameras and explaining what structures had caught fire, what things happened. I would play a lot of that for you, but there was a lot of expletives going on in the vehicle. It's just shocking the amount of destruction that's been done by this fire. And the next 2 days that we have are crazy, crazy high winds, incredibly low humidity, hot temperatures. It is the perfect storm for wildfire fueling, and everyone's very nervous about these next couple days. In fact, there's a new designation. This has never been designated before. We do have red flag warnings throughout the season. That means, okay, yeah, high fire probabilities. But we have this special designation this year. I want to point that out on this map. Okay, so take a look at that area in the purple outline. This is a new designation from the state, which is called a particularly dangerous situation. This is the first time we've had this designated along with a red flag warning. Red flag warnings are related to high fire risk. So this is a brand new designation due to the extreme levels of risks with wildfires right now. I live well within this boundary, and they're encouraging people to start getting to-go bags ready, no exit routes. So not that they're saying, hey, it's time to make that move, but get ready in case you need to. So it's pretty scary. This is no joke. We've never seen anything like this. Okay, so here's the next graphic that I wanted to show you. This is the total number of fires in Utah right now. As you can see, we have 381. If you look below that, look at how many are caused by humans. 273 fires out of the 381 fires that we have are human caused. And if you look below that, 39 of the fires are unknown, meaning some of those have probably come from humans also. So this is insanity to me that we haven't learned how to behave properly in this state. I'm hoping that some of that is just based off of people's ignorance, and I'm not using that in a negative way. Just, we're all ignorant of certain things. So I'm going to outline a few things here for people who are visiting this area or live here that might just not be the most straightforward thing that you would think of in terms of fire prevention. First of all, and this is the primary cause of most human-caused wildfires, is people having a campfire and not extinguishing it fully before they leave. And by extinguishing fully, I mean dumping tons of water on it. It's pretty common, unfortunately, to come across smoldering fires. All it takes is some wind blowing a spark onto some dry stuff. Like if it hit this sheetgrass, man, it's immediate. It does not take much to start a fire. Another thing, chains. So if you're pulling a trailer, you have chains, safety chains hooked up to your vehicle, to the trailer. If those things are dragging, they're going to cause sparks. Just sparks from it hitting the ground, that causes wildfires also. So if you have chains, all you have to do to get them to not drag, twist it up, twist it up, twist it up, then hook it to your vehicle. Another one that causes wildfires, also not maybe the most intuitive, but target shooting. Ricochets from target shooting cause sparks that can ignite fires also. And kind of one of the other rough things about this season is injuries and the relationship between having an injury and living off grid, because there's a certain level of physicality to it. Every single task, whether it's taking a shower, doing the dishes, collecting water for your property, each of these things is more physical and more time consuming than just in a traditional living style. It was a pretty good wake-up call over the past several weeks. So I've been battling tennis elbow for years now. The freaking irony of this freaking climbing wall is I had to hustle really hard on it because I was so busy with work that I just pushed through that pain and pretty much ignored it. I got about 4 full climbing sessions on it, but after that, this arm was just pretty much unusable. And just having, and it's not like it was unusable, it was just very painful. But just going about trying to do things one-armed on the property, wow, that was an eye-opener as to the relationship between having an able body and a non-able body, what that does to your living experience off-grid. You know, I've been into dirt biking for a bunch of years, and throughout that, I've probably broken about 4 bones, and the worst of those was a broken leg. I started thinking about that. What if I broke a leg and I was trying to live here? Like, I could do it, but I would need help from other people for certain tasks, and it would be very difficult, and probably dangerous, you know, because I'd be walking around crutches, going through rocky sections and stuff. So, you know, that's another risk that you are taking on when you're going to sign up for off-grid living. So these are just things, food for thought, because I know a lot of people dream about off-grid living, and there are certain realities that people might not be considering that could turn the experience into a huge time and money investment waste. So you do have to go into that with some level of calculation / understand that you are really signing up for some risk. So hope that this was helpful for you guys. Thank you for following along. If you got to this stage in the video, I'd super appreciate it if you were to subscribe and follow along. Have some new fun videos coming along because work is finally starting to chill out a little bit. I've missed making these videos. So for those of you who have subscribed to the channel, I really appreciate it. And thanks for following along in this video. Hope to see you in the next one.